Uh, uh, oh, wait. Mm, oh, better. Okay. Um, mm, oh, I see the issue. Okay, sorry. I was having a tech issue. What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. You know what I was thinking about? I think men should just marry whores. I was looking at the market. Excuse me. Got to get my thing on. There we go. I was looking at the market, and I rate women a lot. So I'll like, kind of look at where the most attractive women are. And I saw this picture of Sydney Sweeney with this fan that like mogged her. Like whatever the looks maxers say, and this girl was beautiful. She had bigger boobs than Sydney Sweeney. Her face was better looking. And I think there's over a certain attractiveness level that I just assume they're doing some sort of sex work. And I thought about it for a second. I think men should just marry a sex worker because or date sex workers because you're going to get a whore anyway. If you date an ugly woman, later you're going to find out she's a whore. You're going to find something you don't like. So at least that way there's no surprises. Or, I mean, then you could justify, look, I can't marry you. You're OnlyFans, but we can be together forever, baby. It's kind of like imagine you married like an average looking girl, a mid, and then you find out the mid did like gangbangs. Wouldn't you just be like, well, I should have married that girl that was doing the Gluck Gluck 9000. At least I would have got that. You know what I mean? Like, you get, and I was thinking about it. You might as well get the best genetics. And I was actually talking to someone that works here. So he's going to see this, but I was talking to someone the other day. And I was thinking about the reason that whores, they sent me that clip of Nick F. And Nick F. had like a clip that said sometimes he just wants to marry an OnlyFans whore. And a lot of people were clowning on him. They're like, oh, that's not trad. That's not religious. But I actually understood exactly what he was saying. I understood like exactly. And a lot of people will say you're a simp, da 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 da. But I was thinking about it. Whores, at least they pay attention to what men want. They put the tits out. They look like, they look pretty, they're thin. Like, at least the sex workers bring that to the table. I think when men go uglier, there's some expectation of like purity. Like they're expecting the girl to be more pure or more agreeable, more reasonable. But I don't really see that with mid women. I really don't. Like, I don't see them have an ounce of humility. So if you're not going to get that anyway, you might as well go for the hot women. And I've been rating women, and I think objectively the best looking women are in sex work. They'll crash out later, but you'll see it coming, right? You're not going to, it's the mids that convince you they're not whores. Those are the ones that take you to the cleaners, The hot chick with the big tits, that's with the average looking guy, she's there for money. So he's getting a double prenup. He's putting his shit in his mother's name. Yeah, women, no, all women are whores anyway. So you might as well just get a whore. And then just hope for the best, Like, I think that you, and I forgot what he said. This guy was like, well, yeah, but you're going to have problems with the girl that's the sex worker. And I'm like, are they really going to be worse than the problems you get with any woman? And at least, if you get a whore and she's like Gluck Gluck 9000, she's going all in on the, at least you could say, well, I got her on sale. I didn't pay a high price for this. And she's a whore for me. She might be a whore for a bajillion other guys, but it's worse when you marry a woman that's a prude that turns out she fucks other guys like she's a whore. I think that's unanimously worse. So this is a part of the show where I just talk about my random thoughts. Sometimes I freestyle, My buddy used to rent rooms to strippers, and they're far worse. Well, in what way? I'm open to listening, right? I'm open to listening, but how are they worse? Yeah, they're saying it's cope. Well, why are you guys here? I'd be like, half of you guys are divorced. Did you think your wife was a whore when you met her? Did you think that she was a slut? No. Were you a little bit surprised when she filed for divorce and started slutting it up? You wouldn't be surprised if a stripper divorced you. You're like, well, she's a stripper, Yeah, like what if you got like what if you got a nurse? So some say nurses are worse. Yeah, you got a nurse. You're thinking, oh, I got this educated woman. It's going to be so much better. She does the same thing stripper does. Married 25 years. Yeah, and I bet you think the divorce will never happen to you. Mm-hmm. Every guy does. Yeah, and so I get really tired of the arrogance. There's a lot of arrogance that are like, oh, I would never marry a whore or a slut. You probably did. To all the divorced guys here, you probably did. You probably did marry a whore and a slut. And then there's always, and it's just so, it's so predictable, right? Every time a guy says, oh, I found this girl that's so different, so special. Where did you meet her? Oh, she just moved from another city. That's mad convenient. That's so. Or they'll get her young and they're like, look at my girl's special. And then she leaves you at 30 and starts to throw it back in Gluck Gluck 9000. And I'm like, well, I could have seen that coming. Yeah, and then there's these other guys that they got married like 50 years ago. And I'm like, 50 years ago, you really aren't going to know what they were doing because people then started to Gluck Gluck 9000 so young. I mean, I have a relative that told me about her whole phase started at like 13, 14. And not saying there were some girls throwing it back. I don't know. I'm a little weird. So I wasn't like popular, which is very shocking. I know. It's like, Pearl, you weren't popular. No. But I knew of one girl that was sexually active in 8th grade. That was the first time, but and she was doing oral stuff, right? I heard about people having sex around 15 or 16. I myself was a late bloomer. Fuck it, I don't care. I'll tell you the age. I was a sophomore in school, so I was like the last one though. I was late, but I guess I was a workaround, so. See, that's the face I make when I said too much on a podcast. But no, why did I do that? So, anyways, Pearl was too tall for guys. I was just really awkward. And to be honest, I don't know what in high school, like I just never, when I went to school, that was when men showed me they were interested, but before college, that just never happened. I'm from Jamaica, and I know girls doing it all the back in school, and they're happily married. Yeah, so do you know what your girl was doing at 13, 14, 15, 16? No, you don't. So stop telling me. They get so smug. They get these big egos and say, I would never wife a whore. Yeah, you got no choice. Sorry. Zero choice in the matter. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay. I hate it when I get shot. But that hurts their ego. They're like, I'm special. You're not special. You're going to be a statistic just like the rest of us. So I'll tell you some childhood stories. I remember once I thought I had friends, right? And I found out all the girls were using me because I had a big house. And this is kind of a lesson you learn in life, right? And when you're young, you think, well, what did I do to deserve that, right? You're like, oh no. And then you get older and you're thinking, that girl's just mean. That had nothing to do with you. And the older you get, you realize a lot of people's crash outs, they have nothing to do with you. The other people are crazy. Who hurt me? Women. Yeah. I'm on TikTok under the account Hush, if anyone cares. It is where I shit post. So don't expect. Don't expect anything very professional or serious. I have 140 followers. So you could say I'm an influencer now. You could say I'm a lifestyle influencer, but it's Hush 06969. That's my account. The reason I went with this was because I honestly always forget my username and password. So I've made a lot of accounts over the years. I forget it. So okay, I'm gonna update you on Brett Cooper, but I think I'll do that last though. A lot of people were asking me about the nose breathing device that I was wearing this morning. I've been going to an airway dentist. And I think maybe I'll share with you guys my thought process. So I've always had TMJ, right? And what I found out is I have a tongue tie, a lip tie, and a very underdeveloped airway. And I can't decide if this stuff is real or it's just female woo-woo, because I go to these offices and they're primarily women, and that raises like the hairs in my neck. But the guy who developed it was a man, Dr. Mew or whatever, and I don't mew at all. And the second half of my face, I guess, was underdeveloped. I've always had allergies. I can't really breathe. You'll notice I breathe really heavy. And this has been my whole life. Like, I remember I would do fitness tests for sports, and I would do the mile or whatever it was. And I would be more out of breath than the other women, even though I would finish before them. So I was in better shape than them, or maybe I was trying harder. I don't know. But I would be so out of breath. Asthma. And part of this was poor eating habits, which I've improved a lot. I was wondering if the underdevelopment is because of soft foods, because until recently, I realized I drank a lot of my calories. And I do a lot of soft foods in general. Like growing up, my mom never really cooked other than special occasions, but it wasn't a daily thing. So I would eat cereal. I'd eat butter noodles. My mom was fat for a while. So anyway, I was thinking, I wonder if that's what causes it. I don't know, but who cares, right? I did the scans and I have a very small, they call it palate, and a very underdeveloped airway and a jaw that's really far back. And I went to two places. I got two quotes. One was astronomical. One was reasonable. And essentially they would want to expand my palate. One would either do it through the palate expander, another one through retainers. And then I have to do myofunctional therapy to learn to put the tongue in the back of my mouth, a tongue tie release, a lip tie release. And basically like practicing breathing. So it's like a whole thing. And it would probably take me, and I've noticed that anything I want to improve takes me like 2 years. Yeah, yeah. I found out I had a deviated septum years ago. I got it fixed and then it broke again, so that didn't help. I guess it's because it doesn't matter if you fix it if the breathing is still like bad. So I looked at this years ago, but I knew I had to be at the point in my life where I had time to like do it. So I got through the demonetization and all that bullshit. So then I fixed that and I'm like, okay, if I can, I'd like to fix. You know, you can kind of hear it. I have a very like nasally voice. No, it's not a surgery. No, I wouldn't get surgery. It's like dental work. So it's like they expand your palate and your jaw. Like, so my jaw pops every time I open it. So if you listen, and it kind of hurts sometimes. So my goal was I wanted to fix my jaw. And I'm finding out it's because I don't mew, essentially. And I've never mewed. And therefore, I have an underdeveloped airway and I can't breathe. That's what I found out. Will that help? Chewing a firm gum? I could try. So it'd be nice if any of you have actually gone through that process, because I'm like, ideally a man, because women, like, I just don't trust your opinions as much, but is that wrong? I don't care if it is. But it kind of made, when I was learning about the things that come with it, it kind of makes a lot of things make sense. Like I remember when I was a kid, people would watch me drink water or this, and they would always comment that I drink weird. So I need a sinus surgery and a specialist opinion. But the one woman gets her information from a man. She's like her mentor. So, sorry, this was important. But I was thinking how many problems eating habits probably causes. And I was thinking about how, like, if you drink sugar coffee, you get fat and you also have dehydration issues. Sniffs hair. Thank you. Anyway, so that's my first thing today. What time is it? We're at 7. So I got a half hour till my first guest comes on. All right. So today we're talking about a few different things. Now that, you know, we've gotten this out of the way. The first thing being that Brett Cooper is me tooing her boss indirectly through other women. And women do this because women, when we sin or we do the wrong thing, we'll never do it to their face, but we do it through other people indirectly. It's very annoying to me. We don't just do it with our chest, right? I hate it when I feel myself not wanting to do it to someone's face. It's not just her, it's everybody. But she still is a woman, so therefore crazy, right? She tries to market herself as different, so that's going to make her more crazy, right? Let me pull up this story. All right, so Candace Owens, All right, Candace Owens. Share screen. All right. Brett Cooper's mom confirms Candace Owens' bombshell allegations. Former Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring tried to get Brett Cooper to cancel her wedding so he could make her a star. When she refused, he hired her maid of honor and for an obscene amount of money in order to spite her. Then he tried to paint Brett as an anti-Semite and sued Candace for defending her. Finally, Candace Owens alleges Boring is a repressed homosexual. Brett's mom reveals she's legally forbidden from explaining what happened or defending herself. The whole kind of thing makes you wish he was still driving the Daily Wire to the ground, doesn't it? Okay. I want to talk about this whole situation because I have lost faith in Brett Cooper. She seemed like a nice girl. Young, still full of life. But when she got fired from the Daily Wire, I really lost respect for her. To the point that I might be a hater now. I think I'm a hater. Now, Brett Cooper she said, I quit my job because I had a difference of opinion and then moved on with her life and never spoke about it again, I would have respected her. I would have said, you go, queen, have fun. But when women leave their company, they always either directly or indirectly crash out. And this really frustrates me. I cannot stand this because so many men have terrible work conditions, right? Brett Cooper is a former actress who gets paid to talk about stuff on Twitter. Easiest job on the planet, gets paid bajillion dollars, right? Overpaid for working 2 hours a day. I can say this because I'm overpaid for my work, right? I'm in this, and I bet she makes more than me, right? And mind you, I went through the trouble of learning to edit myself, recruiting for shows, getting into, I had no connections in this industry. I was not found, right? I found every connection I have. And so I know how much work Brett skipped by having a man do it for her. I had plenty of men help me along the way. I'm not trying to take complete credit for it. But I can tell you, when you have a giant, rich organization behind you, doing your wardrobe, doing your makeup, helping you with research, do you know how much time you save? So Brett Cooper became famous because she was hired by the Daily Wire and they made her a star. She got 1 million subscribers in a year. I became famous around the same time. And, I think famous is a stretch for me. She's a way bigger star than me. And did she express gratitude to the people that made her who she was? Let me jump. I jumped a little bit in the story. So after about 1.5 years, Brett Cooper quits and they end up hiring her best friend. Now, mind you, she quit. She wasn't forced out. The bitch quit. I mean, they were making so much money off that show. I don't know why in their right mind. There was no reason to fire her, right? She quit. And so they essentially made her famous. She took the money and ran, whatever, right? No loyalty. We're women, whatever. Now, again, as women do, now she married rich. So now her husband's got is her security instead of the company. Again, making her problem someone else's. Whatever, that's what women do. I'm not trying to prescribe morality to it. But it really grinded my gears because when she quit, she would indirectly speak ill about the company and created an entire drama around this and pretended she did it. She would make ominous statements. Like her mom came out and started bitching about the company. She completely sent her fan base to bully her ex-best friend who took her job. It was a completely emotional wreck. And I was so disgusted by the situation. How dare you? How dare you express anything but gratitude for the position that you're in? How fucking dare you? How spoiled, how bratty, fuck you. That's how I felt about it. That's how I felt about it. Because, today I was talking to a fireman and he was telling me the ins and outs of his jobs, right? And he's telling me this is the guy, or like an EMT, I don't know what it's called, but the guy, he does fireman. He also answers he goes, He does firefighting and answers calls for like when you call 911. So this is a guy he's seen people commit, like he's the person called when someone commits suicide. You know, he sees their brains blown out. I've interviewed men that do construction and are seriously injured on the job. And the fact that you express anything but gratitude from the men that made you who you were, fuck you. Fuck you. And I know how much work it is to do it without them. Not with a big like, do you know how much credibility you get by just being with the Daily Wire? Dispatcher. Yeah, sorry. You guys, I'm bad with names. I will always be bad with names. There's certain names I forget of things. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm dyslexic. I don't know. I wish I wasn't like that. I am. So if you can't take it, it just is what it is. I have flaws. You know, I've interviewed men that have lost everything. And so for you, this is why YouTubers, commentators get the rep that we get. Because fuck you for that. So she creates this whole tirade to the point that they are bullying her ex co-host. And she completely co-signed it, pretended she didn't, and indirectly what women do is they're in the ear of a lot of people. And like her mom's commenting all these videos and they'll pretend like they don't have any control over that, even though they do, right? I mean, if your mom's crashing out, unless you and your mom hate each other, if you said, hey mom, I got this, please stop, she'll stop. And the challenge is women like Brett and women in general, nobody ever tells them this. Nobody tells them how insufferable they are. Nobody tells them how bratty they are. Nobody tells them how spoiled they are. That is so fucking spoiled. And this is coming from, I'm probably the worst person to deliver this message ever. I am a spoiled brat. Completely, right? I hate that I have to say it. The same way I was the person that said Candace Owens, she thinks she's smarter than the FBI right now because of the credibility of all the simps propping her up for years. Her simp husband obviously never is telling her not to do something or no, or you're wrong. I hate, I'm a brat, right? I grew up very I'm very open about that. I grew up very privileged. I'm a hard worker, but hell, not compared to the men doing the dirty and the dangerous jobs in society. No, I get heated about this stuff because, I have relatives in the military. I have relatives that are injured. I have loved ones that got injured at work. And for you to complain about anything, how fucking dare you? How dare you? And that's how I felt about it. Same with Candace Owens. Men understand that when they're hired at a job, I ran a YouTube network, right? If you're hired at my YouTube network, you cannot speak ill about white people. I'm a white person, right? If you're hired by Jews, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. It can't be shocking that you can touch any other topic except going against the people that hired you. I mean, and men understand this. Men know this. Why do you think they're so careful with what they say about women? Because most men are either directly or indirectly employed by women. They understand this. They don't bitch. They don't whine. If you don't like the conditions, you can leave and you don't need to make a big fuss out of it. I mean, Candace Owens was saying Christ is king and using that as a way to attack the Daily Wire. Now, you might disagree. Maybe you think that, and I know nothing about the Palestine, the war. I am not a person to comment on that. But what I can say is how incredibly spoiled it is to accept the easy company money, the easy talking job, and then cry because you can't talk about one issue. Screw you. Fuck you, God. That is the most bratty thing I have ever heard in my life. And I'm a brat, right? So I got heated when I saw this today. I got so freaking heated when I saw that Brett Cooper is indirectly accusing Jeremy Boring of having some weird relationship. I doubt Brett watches my show. It is your responsibility to, if you did not, and I'm going to go into the story. If you did not tell Candace Owens to say this, you better get on the phone and scream at her. You better tell her to shut the fuck up, and you better publicly take this shit back, because this is the type of thing, these accusations ruin men's lives. And I am so sick of this bullshit. I'm sick of seeing it in conservative media. Sorry. So Brett Cooper and Candace Owens crash out. They leave the Daily Wire. And instead of just going their separate ways, many men, when Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox, he only spoke highly of Fox. He said he was really grateful. He got to say whatever he wanted for 20 years. And he understood when he got fired. It was a completely different tone. But women, they have to be victims. So when they get fired from a job, it can never be because of their own, faults. It just has to be, I'm a victim. So let me pull this up. Sorry. Now you might say Boring already ruined his reputation. I don't care. I don't care if he's not he's not that charismatic. That's really obvious, right? He's not a charismatic guy. But I don't it doesn't mean he deserves to be accused of this shit without evidence. Go to the fucking police, you bitches. Get a police report or shut the fuck up. That's how I feel about it. Christ and King is the best message ever. It might be, but not when you're using it to further your bitchiness and your political agenda. It was really obvious what she was doing. She's using Jesus to be a bitch. It's wrong. It's wrong. So anyways, Candace Owens, and does this mean, all right, Brett Cooper's mom confirms Candace Owens' bombshell allegations. Former Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring tried to get Brett Cooper to cancel her wedding so that he could make her a star. When she refused, he hired her maid of honor for an obscene amount of money to spite her. Then he tried to paint Brett as an anti-Semite and sued Candace for defending her. Finally, Owens alleges Boring is a repressed homosexual. Brett's mom reveals she's legally forbidden from explaining what happened or defending herself. The whole thing kind of makes you wish he was driving the Daily Wire into the ground, doesn't it? Okay, we're going to listen to this. Now, mind you, what are the accusations of when women are trying to be a bitch? He's gay. He's evil. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Shoes, Jeremy. I might even rank you bizarrely. Now, were I in your shoes, Jeremy, I might even rank you bizarrely telling Brett Cooper, then a very young employee of yours, just a few weeks before she was slated to get married, sitting her down and telling her that she shouldn't do that because you had big plans and you were going to turn her into a star because you're the magic. I would probably rank that at the tippity top of bad corporate decisions, among others. You maybe forgot yourself in that moment, as you always do. You got a little swept up in you. But conservatives, those pretending to be...
This is evil. This is completely evil. If you were not in that room, Candace, there's not a recording. Fuck you. It's going based off of a story. Fuck you.
the conservative companies certainly are not supposed to chase Hollywood fame above family. And I think personally that she made the right decision to leave. And then you made again.
And by the way, none of these bitches care about their families, because if they would not be in politics and using their families as marketing for their person. I was on Brett Cooper's Instagram the other day. It's like her husband's friend. Like, no guy wants to be at home and have a camera in his face. No guy. Men value privacy. And like, do you think Candace Owens' husband likes being thrown into all these lawsuits? Like, you guys can market it how you want. They'll always have a defense for it. But the way they go about it, it's like very obvious they don't care about their families. They don't care at all, right? So you can't say you picked your family over money. You just found a more convenient way to do both, which is fine. But when I know like real traditional wives, I find that repulsive. I'm not traditional, right? None of these bitches are traditional. You're not traditional till you put the phone down. I have a traditional woman in my phone book. That woman doesn't even have a cell phone. Or she just got one, actually. She would not have time. A traditional woman does not have time to do a show like this. Certainly not. Like, her makeup is going to take her an hour every day. Her makeup, her hair, picking the outfit. Like, traditional women look haggard. I'm going to be honest. Traditional women, like, she never wore makeup. She didn't have time for that. It's hard to function in society. That's true, right? That's why there's no such thing as a traditional woman. It is hard to function in society without a phone. But my point remains the same. They're using traditionalism to get money and fame, but they're not what they say they are. I'm not saying they're bad people. This is fucked up. This whole thing right here is fucked up. I'm the only one that's going to call it out. People are going to call me crazy, but I don't care. What they're doing, this story that she's about to put is fucked up. And Brett Cooper, you're a piece of shit. If you do not come out and say that is false, I am so sorry for it. Like, take some fucking accountability. This is complete bullshit. It's maddening. Like, why does every woman in media have to crash out this fucking way? Look, if you're a traditional woman, you don't have time to do the YouTube show. And I'll tell you why. I've observed myself and others in the industry. You don't have time to be on Twitter all day. Like, you don't have time to scroll through these stories. It's taking the number one thing kids need is attention. It's not that there's who are the most impactful people when you were children? It wasn't the mother that was glued to her phone all day. It's just so disappointing because I thought Brett was young and full of life. Complete bullshit.
And the wrong decision, like the angry, repressed homosexual that you are, to not just.
So now she's calling him gay. What, did you see him fuck another dude? If you didn't, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Like, God, this is so bitchy and mean.
Allow a young woman, again, 21 years old, to just leave.
That's an adult. Shut up. My grandma had like 4 kids by the time she was 21. Shut up. Stop with this victim narrative. Stop with this plan. Like, shut the fuck up. And I keep swearing today, but it's really grinding my gears. Because it makes us all look bad when it's every single woman has to crash out. on the people. Like, there's certain men I just would never like. There has to be a level of gratitude you have for the men that helped you become who you are. And the first pushback that I always get is, oh, but Pearl. It wasn't just those men that made them famous. Yeah, well, they fucking helped. Turning Point fucking helped Candace become famous. So did the Daily Wire. Those were very good career moves for both of them. And their gratitude is, oh, Jeremy's gay. And out of a story, which we have no idea what the context was. We have no idea if he even said that to begin with to Brett Cooper. We have no idea the context of why he told her to call off the wedding. We don't this is what women do. It could have been a joke. Oh, haha, call off the wedding. I'll make you a star. Maybe it was half serious, right? But fuck it. Like, people say things in conversation. And women will they hold it over your head. It's been a year and a half. Move on. You got your channel. You made a new channel. You made all this money. You're married. You're using your husband and your kids as your marketing, right? You win. You won. You get to talk for a living. Move on. Just complete bullshit.
But to again, stalk, because that's what you do. You stalk. You pretend it's a business, but you're glorified stalkers. In this time, in the most sadistic manner possibly ever, offering an obscene amount of money to her maid of honor at that wedding that you didn't want her to have, to hurt her, replacing her with her maid of honor because you wanted Brett Cooper, a young woman, to suffer for simply wanting to change jobs, which is why you worked behind the scenes through the same demented PR orbit to try to smear her, the friendly pop culture young girl, as an anti-Semite over an Instagram because she liked a year end.
Complete bullshit. What is your evidence for any of this?
And roundup of my podcast, and you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have that. You know, I'd rank that as another mistake, but what I rank as one of my prouder moments and all of that was using some of my nuclear energy to stand up for her publicly, despite contractual.
All right, I'm going to tweet. I'm going to see. Okay, wait. I'm going to tweet right now. Jeremy Boring. Can I message him? Let's see. I'm going to copy his @ and I'm going to say, paste. Can you give, he probably won't respond, your side of these allegations of you asking Brett to cancel her wedding? I would bet so much money there's something out of context. I'm going to tweet it. Jeremy, I think he doesn't accept DMs from people he doesn't know. All right, let's see. I'm going to keep watching. I have someone calling in, but I think this is going to take a little longer.
Restraints, using my platform to say what you did to her was wrong. And when you sued me for that, for standing up for Brett Cooper, I want you to know that I communicated to my legal team that I would accept that. I would accept the penalty of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Your husband's hundreds of thousands of dollars that you made through talking on the internet. Like, none of this is from the women's hard work and labor. That's why women don't care about wasting money. You guys are saying my mic's too loud? Is it?
Which you wanted to impart upon me for me doing the right thing and standing up for someone who didn't deserve what you were putting her through. You did put me through it, and you were trying to put her through it.
Like, this is such bullshit. Do you know what's going through something? The men on crab fishing boats who almost die trying to get us crab. It's not your boss being mean to you. Shut the fuck up. Like, how do you guys not want to bang? I'm not even doing these hard jobs. How do you guys hear this and not want to bang your head against the wall? Like, they're just such spoiled brats. Shut up.
And I told my husband that I would gladly pay that money. I said, if the judge came back in your favor, I wouldn't lie.
You want to pay your husband will pay that money.
I would admit
What a wicked woman.
that I consciously stood up for somebody who didn't deserve to be smeared. I'm proud of that. In fact, I would have hung it up on a wall and showed my kids that money isn't everything. Doing the right thing is.
Doing the right thing. And so then her mom comments and she says, Brett's mom here. Thanks for revealing the only part of what Brett can legally cannot reveal. And thanks for being an incredible friend and a non-compromised soldier for the truth. This is, and I want to show you in plain sight, this is what we're accustomed to. We never give the benefit of the doubt. Women always see the worst. So whatever Jeremy said, I guarantee Brett took the worst possible story version of it imaginable and told her friends and her family, and also played victim. Now these people are speaking out, right? And none of them were there for the conversation. It's just gossip. And they're treating it as fact because a woman told the story. Now, Isabella Moody, this is one of the worst takes you've ever had. I'm so sorry. I like you, but I'm about to cook you right now. This is a terrible take. From what I've heard, Jeremy Creep Boring was very inappropriate towards Brett Cooper. From what you've heard, from who? Fucking women. Women. Usually I don't believe women, but I have a weird feeling about him since Jeremy's chocolate commercial featuring Brett. He didn't do anything crazy in the ad, but I had a gut feeling he was creepy to her while filming. I could be wrong, but after hearing stories of him being creepy towards her, I think my intuition is correct. I think your intuition is bullshit. You're a woman. Do you know, like, okay, Brett Cooper is dressed very seductively in this commercial. Tits out, right? Very tight outfit. I don't care, right? I'm here. Sell the chocolate, girl. I mean, pretty women are marketing for brands. I don't have a problem with it. But like even Isabella, this is gossip. You're treating this as fact when Jeremy being a creep is just stories and gossip. That's what it is. And she didn't have to dress like this. It's kind of like the actresses getting hit on with their tits out. If she got hit on dressed like that, I don't give a fuck. I don't. This is the same thing that they did to Weinstein. Bullshit. Complete bullshit. It's making me angry. Gut feeling from actually. All right, I'm about to send the link to the next person that's going to join. We're going to talk about slavery the second half. I actually think we can do 45. I wonder if he's listening. Here, let me see. Let me see. We're about to send the link to the next guest. See, I don't have a production team. It's just me, you know. Graylin. Okay. There we go. You can come on in like 15 minutes. Bullshit. Complete bullshit. And by the way, Brett, I'm putting this on you because whatever the fuck you told Candace, the gossip that you spread about Jeremy, I fucking hope you have facts. I hope you do. I hope you have receipts. I hope you recorded the whole conversation because if it was just hearsay, you have a responsibility to come out and say, hey, I was being a little dramatic. This is not true. You got to come out and do it. They'll never do it. They're influencers. Fucking hate these people. Oh, he says he is. The lack of gratitude just to me is astounding. That lack of gratitude is just, and I've been in the Daily Wire offices. The other girl that works there gets to work from home. The Daily Wire, their problem is they're not red pilled. They keep hiring women. No, but women, okay, Brett is an idiot if she confided in Candace. Women do this strategically. They confide in people they know will talk. So when they don't have the balls to talk, the women will do it for them. Women that make a fortune always want to play the victim. There are men that get crushed by trees every year. And you're complaining because your boss told you to cancel your wedding, allegedly. Shut up. Shut up. God, shut up. You give all of us a bad rep. Shut up. I'm a young girl. Shut up. I mean, there's men, young boys that go to war and die. Shut up. I got a concussion working on a tree trimming crew. My response to Isabella was, whatever. If it was so bad, then she should have quit the day it happened. Women need to put up or shut up. If this in any way turns out to be false or over exaggerated, I hope he sues the shit out of her. Let's see. Did he respond? No. Let me see. What did he say? Complete bullshit. Jeremy, come on my live. Come my live and give your side of the story. And I'm sure I've called him a simp before. And this is what simping gets you. False allegations. Yep. All right, let's see. I'm putting the thing on. We're going to talk about the ins and outs of slavery later, too. Let me read the super chats. He can't sue Brett, or Brett will get a subpoena to force him to confirm the allegations. Well, what if he said it as a joke? That's what women do. You'll say something as a joke. This is why do you think I'm like this? Because every tactic women have used on freaking me. Evil women. Jesus Christ. This is so evil. Brett, file a police report or shut the fuck up. That's true. Melting steel together in a small tank on 100 degrees. Oh no, my boss made a. He told me to cancel my wedding. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! God, I'm getting heated. It just pisses me off. I see, like my brothers, I see how hard they work. And my father, I just can't even imagine. Like, I can't even imagine my father listening to this. And he's like I can like see it, like Brett going to my father, my very rational guy, not on social media. And she's like, oh my gosh, he said something about me, the wedding. Da-da-da-da. My dad's like, so what? And did you do it? No. Okay, move on. He's like, how long ago was this? Like, this is what my dad would say. He would say, how long ago was this? Well, why didn't you go to if you felt uncomfortable, why didn't you go to the police? Like, you don't get to make a campaign because you feel creeped out. I don't really care if you feel a certain way. I feel a lot of ways. Sometimes I have felt creeped out when the guy wasn't creepy and I misread the situation. That's happened to me. That's why you don't go on a whole campaign based on your feelings. Your feelings. Just bullshit. Complete bullshit. Hold on. Let me get the. Okay. Where are the supers? How do I pull them up again? Oh, I think I do it here. Nominal aphasia is the inability to recall the names of people, places, and objects. Does that help me? Like nominal aphasia. That does happen to me a lot. How do I know if I have it? Like, how do I know if it's so bad? I also can't pronounce, they always make jokes about people not being able to read. And I think I do have a hard time reading. I was thinking about this the other day. But I'll admit it, I don't really have an ego. I'm like, well, I probably could read a little bit better. There's people that have watched me for years knows pronunciations. There's just certain stuff. Word finding difficulty. All right, let's see. I want to read this. Kind of interesting. Speech remains fluent and grammatically correct, though often filled with a tip of the tongue phrases and roundabout descriptions. Major impairment in retrieving specific nouns and verbs. Using phrases like the thing you used to write instead of, oh my gosh, oh no. Normal sentence structure, but speech may sound empty or vague. Good comprehension. Generally, understanding of spoken language remains intact. Knows the word, but being unable to pronounce. Oh my God, do I have this? It's caused by, my brain's damaged. Okay. Or sometimes the right hemisphere. Okay. I've never had a stroke. And Alzheimer's, high blood pressure. Okay. Well, I don't know if I have this because I haven't had any of those things. I don't know. All for clicks. Yep. Well, who knows? But it's like, my dad, he's really smart, but sometimes like my dad kind of has that too. Me and my dad are kind of similar. Except he's way smarter than me, but he's a little like quirky too. And we've always wondered if he's like, like autistic or like something, like if he's got something like that. Cause he's also really bad with names and like that sort of thing. And sometimes I'll just blank out. I don't know, but anyways, I asked him if he was ever going to get tested, and he's like, well, what would it help me if I did? And then I'm like diagnosed with something. It's like, what's the point? Like, now I know, but okay, I'll tell you what's going on with piano. Like, for example, I can't do the alphabet backwards. Like, I have to do these minor pentatonic scales. And I've had such a hard time learning it backwards. Like, I can go forward and I'll do it perfectly. But backwards, it is like I am retarded. It is incredible how bad I am at the way backward and the pentatonic, because you have to remember to skip. Like, the way scales work is it's hard. It's going to be hard for me to describe, but like there's 7 steps and I'm like 7 notes in every scale, and on pentatonic you have to remember to skip the 6th and the 4th. And so I'm going up and going down. And I just forget. Then I'll forget what scale I'm even doing. So I don't know. I don't know if I have that because I haven't had a stroke or anything. Is your dad more like Albert Einstein? No, I mean, I don't know because I'd have to hear Albert Einstein talk, but he looks really weird. My dad looks like normal. My dad has the ego of Joe Rogan. He's like Donald Trump intelligence and leadership with the ego of Joe Rogan. Like my father just has no ego. But he would never like my dad's a big do it yourself. Like he's very cheap. I think that's why I'm down to earth is I have a very cheap father. Like I remember I'd never not on like things like houses. Like I'm starting to think of exceptions. Like we had a big house growing up, but my dad, we had a bunch of siblings and we would never fly anywhere. My dad would just drive if we went on vacation. Am I good at math? Oh God, no. I think there's stuff I got skipped over in school. I got to be honest. I think, and I was thinking about this pretty deeply the other day. I think the number one thing that is missing from children is someone paying attention to them. And I think that's the number one thing like that kids are missing because it's very difficult for teachers to have pay attention to like 20 or 30 kids. So I was talking to someone today and they're making fun of me a little bit. They're like, I was saying if I had a kid, I would want to homeschool them. I think. I don't know if I'm smart enough to do it, but I was thinking I might want to homeschool them. And then he's like, well, is that because of the libtards? And I'm like, it's not really that because the person I was speaking to, he always gets on me because I call him the wrong thing. I think he's a liberal leftist. He's a leftist. But I said I'd be perfectly comfortable sending my kids to you because you care and you're smart. Like I don't really care if you have different politics. I'd really ask you keep maybe some of them to yourself. But I don't mind like I wouldn't really mind someone with a different political opinion as long as they care and they pay attention to the kid. A man because the woman just wouldn't be able to not try to brainwash the kid allegedly. But anyways, I was thinking about this and I'm like, I think there was some stuff I just like kind of missed in my educational process. I never learned my multiplication tables, and there are multiplication tables to this day I do not know. I don't think I ever fully understood certain parts of science. Like, I think a lot of the teachers didn't really teach, and I had a better school than some. Like, I was in middle school, and I went to a Catholic middle school, and then my friend, we got the same test scores, and I know because we did spelling, and we were both like in the like bottom of the class when it came to spelling. And then we went to high school, and my ACT was 5 points higher than hers. So it wasn't like some teachers were good, some were bad. But I was thinking if I had a kid, but then it's like I would love to homeschool them just so for the attention. But then you can't really pay attention to the kid all the time if you're on your phone all day. And that's why I know these women are not full-time mothers because the amount of like you have to be on your phone probably 4 or 5 hours a day at least in order to have a show that's that like much in the news cycle. And women, the way we're wired, we cannot like not talk about it and torture everyone around us. It's why I think my show's better the more I can focus on stuff going on in my life versus the news cycle. So I attempt. But the challenge is you always have the same problem where the news cycle and the debates just pay so much better. Oh my God, so much better. And then it's like, how would I homeschool the kid if I don't know my multiplication tables? Can I even learn this? And then I was like, well, maybe it'd be nice because I could relearn the stuff I don't know. Like I don't know. Girls just stay quiet in classes. They don't know whether the teachers don't know whether they paid attention or not. Yeah, and especially like with girls because everyone treats them special. So you kind of need someone that's like sick of their shit, you know. Cheap equals realistic. Yeah, that's why my dad is so cool, because he can build a house. He can like he had a 200 person company, and he can also like figure out anything. And I was explaining this to someone the other day that I consider very intelligent, but this person has a very different worldview than me. And I was saying I'm kind of racist and sexist now because of the results that I have seen. And he was saying like that there were certain things he didn't know how to do. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not really intelligence. Like, I'm like, I know I could put you in a situation where you know nothing about something. Like he was saying he didn't know how to do something. And I'm like, I could put you in a situation where you know nothing about something and you could figure it out. My brothers are the exact same way. Not me. Not me. Like, and I just see this ceiling with women. Oh my gosh, I'm one of them. That's another thing I skipped in my learning. I don't know certain measurements. Like I don't. I remember going through it not knowing it and thinking I wouldn't pass, and I somehow passed. And there's some stuff I do know more than most people. Like I did really well in English and like writing. Um Plus 100, they said 100 to 100 years ago, people had 12 to 15 children. They rarely got attention. Yeah, but it's different because everyone's like working together on a farm. So you're going to see your parents every night, you know? They like the mom has to feed you, and you see the mom and she's like engaged. Like women come home from work and they're like stressed out and they're on their phones. Like it's just, I would just say it's different. I don't know. I mean, this is just my thought process. I'm childhood vaccine injured. I don't think so, but you know. You guys are saying I'm not retarded. It's just a lot of people can't say the alphabet back. I don't know. I don't know, but I've been doing these pentatonic major and minor scales for months and I cannot get them. Like I don't yeah. Most people are only good at what they're interested in. I don't know. Measurements. I don't know off the top of my head like how many measurements go into bigger measurements. Like I couldn't tell you how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon, but I could like roughly like guess. Maybe it's like 4 if I had to guess. But I wouldn't know that off the top of my head. And before I knew how to cook, I couldn't tell you at all. I had no conception of measurements at all. I learned how to cook the last few years, but I couldn't do that till my late 20s. I could not. The more I learn how to cook, the more I see how I really didn't know how to cook before, but I thought I was okay. So, um, they're saying dyslexia. My guitar teacher kind of hints that I might have that, but it's like I don't know. Doesn't matter, you know. Okay. Should I move on to the next topic? Should I move on? Um all right. So, we're going to hold on one second. I need to check something. Brett Cooper, issue an apology or we're going to have beef. We're going to have beef. You need to put a Actually, I want to see if Jeremy Boring responded. Jeremy, I'm on your side. This is the friendliest interview you're going to get out of me. Yeah, you guys, I saw a lot of things on Twitter that were saying Pearl, but Pearl, Candace is the one who said it. You, as a woman, if you spread a rumor and it came from you, you got to take some responsibility for the rumor that you started. I don't really give a shit if Candace is the end product. You started the rumor. Theo Huxtable, it had dyslexia. I don't know. Okay. Where am I going? All right. All right. So, just gonna, all right. So, why am I not? Hold on. Is it on my other email? Oh, here we go. All right. So today we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics, slavery. Yeah. On this show, you know, I love talking about a lot of different stuff. But I have someone on the show who wishes to remain mostly anonymous, but has seen the inside of liberal arts academia and was disgusted by it. Anyway, so he's going to come on the show and we're going to talk about slavery, the history, and how it's misunderstood. So he reached out to me after one of my debates, and I thought it'd be a fun topic. So I'll tell you my before I bring him up. I'm going to bring him up in 1 second. I'll tell you my view on slavery. Right? I read, what's it called, the Freedman Project. I think it's called. Yeah. Okay. Which I think it was the Jefferson Project. There was some project in like the 1920s where I read accounts of slaves. And I just couldn't believe how different it was than what I saw on TV. So, anyways. All right. All right. Well, we're going to bring up Gray Lamb, you know. So, all right, you ready? Your audio is a little bit buzzed.
Oh, sorry. I don't really do this system that much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Are you using some kind of voice hider or something?
Yeah, I have to. You know, speaking too freely has caused me real problems in the past.
Okay. I mean, we can do it, but I'm just a little nervous it's going to lose people because it's kind of distracting.
Okay. Well, just people, I understand it's the frustration. Maybe you can just remember these facts are things it's good to know. Yeah, I apologize. Okay, so
do you really think they'll find you? Do you think they'll find you based on your voice?
Kind of. I'm a little paranoid.
I don't think they will. I mean, my YouTube channel's not that big. Like,
I also hate my voice. Sorry.
No, I've heard your voice. Your voice is fine.
Forgive me. If you don't mind, can I just remain like this?
You can.
Please?
Yeah, it's all right. You can.
Okay. Thank you. So I wanted to ask, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How's the weather in Chicago?
It's good.
All right. So first of all, I want to make one thing clear. I am not saying that anybody deserves fewer political or social rights than me.
Okay. Could you
and-
actually, before we get into that, would you mind? Is there any way you could tell them a little bit about your background without revealing too much? Because I think they'll want to know. Yeah.
Okay, so I was a graduate student. I was the only conservative in my class in history, and not coincidentally, I think I was labeled confrontational, and yeah, I lost my position. Later on, I talked too freely in a job I had about academic dishonesty in Asia, and I lost that job. So that's kind of why I'm like this. But, what I've seen, there are people who, have you ever heard of Franz Fanon?
Mm-mm.
He was a black scholar from the 60s, and he's taught in basically every graduate liberal arts program today. And he said white women want black men to rape them.
Okay.
It's a fantasy of all of theirs. Yeah. That's one of the things he said. That's the sort of thing that disgusted me.
Oh, that got you fired?
Yeah, that did. The Covington incident did, especially how those boys didn't get any apology from black activists that I am aware of.
The Covington Covington. Okay.
The Covington boys.
When was that? That guy. Okay, I see. I remember again, I'm bad with names, but I remember them.
Okay. So, yeah.
Okay.
I want to talk about slavery because of entitlement. Not all black people are entitled, but violent criminals are all entitled. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
The left, they talk about how most white on white crime, most crime against white people is committed by other whites, and that's true. But when black violent criminals choose a victim, they are more likely to choose a white victim. Are you aware of that?
Is that true even in because in Chicago, it's just my understanding most of the people being shot were black, like on the south side. Yes. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just wondering.
There may be exceptions with different cities.
Okay.
But overall, according to the criminal victimization statistics from the Bureau of Justice in 2022, in terms of violent incidents, not just murder, assault, rape, blacks are more likely to choose a white victim than another black person.
Okay.
And I believe that entitlement comes from slavery, from the feeling of victimization because of slavery.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
I don't agree or disagree. I don't know.
Okay. Well, Anyway, so Matt Walsh had his show on the Daily Wire, and he said some good things, but overall, I think he should have talked about more about the actual conditions of slaves.
Okay.
And you were talking about that. You mentioned the Federal Writers Project.
Oh, is that what it was? I know I read a few. Like, I remember there was one that talked about, like, I remember the last name was Dawsey. How do I remember that name, but not other names? It's like,
Yeah.
and it said like he was a man of like noble character or something like that. And I was like, that's kind of crazy that the slave wrote that.
Yeah, most slaves don't talk that badly about their former masters. Some did, and that's why slavery was wrong. Certainly, that and the unfreedom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, okay. All right, so let's talk about the actual conditions of slaves.
Okay.
What liberals are going to say is, slaves died very quickly on the slave ships and when they came to the Americas. And they did. But whites died even more because nature isn't kind. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
New environments, there's disease and and all kinds of hunger and bad conditions. White indentured servants really died a lot before their turn ended. So the death rate for the crewmen on board slave ships was actually higher than for the slaves on board.
Oh, really? What was the death rate?
I do not have them on hand. My source for this is the Slave Trade Debate, Contemporary Writings for and Against, from the Bowdoin Library, 2007.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and even once they got to the New World, the death rate for whites were still higher. And I get that from Doctors and Slaves, a medical and demographic history of slavery in the British West Indies, 1680 to 1834, and the National Bureau of Economic Research Working Paper 16966. I get the separate statistics of slave death rates and white death rates.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're basically saying that the conditions were harsh on the slave ships regardless.
Yeah.
But weren't there like accounts of like slaves being like thrown overboard and stuff? Like, didn't that happen?
Well, that
those
thing
are
probably happened. And of course, they died a lot, and then they would have been thrown overboard. But we're talking about a world in which half of children died before they were 5. Where famine and plague were constantly happening. So yeah, it wasn't because they were slaves that they were dying. It's because they were on the ocean and in a world that was full of forests and disease-ridden swamps.
Okay.
But But going on from there, getting into the meat of it, we can also talk about the health of slaves once they were born in the New World. Slaves, we measure this by height. Slaves were taller than free Africans at the time. The tallest were in the U.S. Caribbean ones were shorter and Brazilian ones were shorter, but they were still taller than free Africans at the time.
Okay, and so that's saying that the nutrition was better in America, like they were better fed. Okay, so you basically wanted to see, like, you're kind of looking to test what the conditions were like for slaves, and it indicates that it was better than a lot of the people that were free, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because in Africa, there were constant famines and plagues. I know I keep saying that, but it really needs to be stressed. In Africa, meat and fish were mostly eaten by wealthy people, chiefs, nobles, and the like. In the Americas, everybody ate a lot of those things because the Europeans turned lands that had just been inhabited by hunters and gatherers who weren't large in population into, fields and grazing areas.
What time period would this be? Like 1600 to like, because I know in America the first slaves I think were like 1600 from the New World. Like, I know didn't the Irish come in like 1600? So this be like 16 to 1900 ish or 18 something.
The very first slaves came in the 1400s.
Okay.
And it continued until the 1800s.
Okay.
It was more native slaves and white slaves. Well, white indentured servants, technically. Right. Eventually, native slavery was outlawed. And white indentured servants got more rights. So they brought in African slaves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, so the history, like basically the evidence we have indicates that the slaves in America were like better fed essentially than in Africa, because Africa was famine and it just wasn't like in starvation a lot. Is it right?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, in pre-colonial Africa, mostly they didn't have wheels. You can't move stuff around in trade without wheeled carts. They didn't have plows. Women did all the farming because they only had hoes to farm with. So they didn't produce nearly as much. They didn't know how to. Also, I wanted to point out, people always say, no matter the condition of slaves, they weren't free, right?
They weren't what?
Free.
Okay. So like the slaves were not free.
The thing is, people weren't really free in the way we understand it until in Europe in the 1600s, kind of, and a lot later in the rest of the world. You had to do what your elders, your chieftains, your feudal lord told you to do. You couldn't talk back to them any more than a slave could to his master. They told you when to work, when to sleep, when to eat, everything. Or at least they could, and you had to do what they said.
Okay, so you're saying sorry, what time period did you say that switched? There wasn't like freedom as we know it today wasn't till when?
It was a gradual thing, but it's really in the 15 and 1600s that the idea becomes a free person is someone who lives their own life. Before that, it meant different things. A free man was maybe one who like got to carry a weapon and fight. A free woman was one whose chastity was respected. Slave women didn't stay virgins. They were raped, and also they had consensual sex with other men because no value was placed on their chastity. If you understand what I mean.
Oh, that's interesting. So a woman would be free if she could like choose who to sleep with, and over like at a certain point, women couldn't. You're saying our slaves couldn't?
Well, I mean, marriages were arranged, but a free woman was one who was chaste till wed, or at least considered. She only had sex with the right men, with good men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, like in Muslim societies, the burqa that Muslim women wear. In past, slave women weren't allowed to wear that because slave women had to walk about unveiled so men could stare at them. That marked them as being slaves. Do you see what I mean?
Okay. So what would like anyone could hook up with them, or how would that? I don't like how did that
work?
Well,
with the permission of their master.
Oh, so the master would tell them who to hook up with, basically.
And masters probably weren't too choosy about that. I mean, he could keep a slave girl for himself, but that would be kind of childish in people's minds, I think, because she's just, people thought of her as a slut. So, being jealous over her is kind of pointless. I mean, it's like a guy getting angry because his favorite stripper is dancing for other men. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, you'd be surprised, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, but okay, so you're saying like back then a free woman was a woman, like, so would the women that were considered free, would they still be slaves, or would they just be the ones in arranged marriages?
Well, they wouldn't be called slaves, but their things were to be decided for them. Perhaps even more than free women. Than slave women. Than slave women. They would be the ones who would be going out less because they were protected, kept indoors as much as possible, so that men couldn't look at them because their chastity was valued. For a free man, his strength was what was valuable. So, yeah, that's why being a free man was about carrying a weapon. But he still had to do what his elders told him to.
Okay, so essentially everyone had to take orders for someone and didn't have a choice for like history until like the 1600s-ish.
Yeah. Okay. In Europe, later in the rest of the world. And I've traveled around a bit, and young people are still kind of afraid to defy their parents in many countries today.
Yeah, and then
So,
sometimes even into adulthood. Like I see
yeah,
that all the time.
exactly. I mean, into adulthood. Yeah.
Okay. So
Um,
okay, so your point though generally is that number one, the conditions weren't as bad as they're saying, or at least they weren't that different than the rest of the world, American slavery. Because it's thought of that their conditions were worse, but they weren't. Neither was like the fact that they had to obey somebody in most of the world. That's kind of how it was.
exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, people might want to see my sources. Okay, I sent them to you in the bullet points.
Okay, that's fine. I can put them in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Oh wow, you have the pages and everything. Okay. But yeah, I can put this whole.
Yeah.
Can I pin the outline in the chat? Can I just copy the whole thing?
Sure.
Okay. Just like I'll do it in a comment after the show.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Guys, yeah, don't hound him about. I mean, they do that in the chat, but that's just whenever it's a topic that people don't like, they just shout source every 5 minutes because like people that are good faith, they do want to give their sources, but it like derails you because then you can't make the point. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. I'll put it in the chat and then people can take it or leave it. What are some other common misconceptions that you think people have?
Well, I'll mention something else. I don't know whether your boyfriend has ever mentioned this to you as a Dominican. So they were ruled by the Haitians for several decades in the 1800s. And Haiti was founded, of course, by slaves who overthrew their French masters.
Okay.
You know, they're on the same island. They're right next to each other.
Yeah, I've heard about Haiti. I didn't know that they ruled the DR. You said, or like the Dominican Republic. They ruled too. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So some Dominicans were taken back as forced labor in Haiti, but there's not really any accounts of Dominican slaves, Spanish slaves, going back to Haiti voluntarily, even though it was a nation formed by slaves who overthrew their masters.
Oh, so you're saying another way to see how like good a place is if they go back after they're freed.
Yeah.
So like, so if which I would imagine American slavery is a little different because it would be a few generations, I'm assuming. But like in general, the people that Haiti took went back after, but in other places that wasn't the case. Go ahead.
If they could, I would need to look for a source. It's not in one of my sources right now. I could send it later.
We can just have the conversation, and then after, just put exactly what you want me to put in the comments section with the sources and stuff, and we can just put it, and then people can take it or leave it. So you don't have to. I understand they're going to spam you in the chat, but they just want to derail you at times.
Okay, I'm not really paying attention to the chat, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, some free blacks in America did go to Haiti, but a lot of them went back to U.S. Because they didn't like life in Haiti.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I'm basically saying is that being in poverty and free theoretically is not necessarily better than being a slave.
Yeah, that's what I found out in the projects that I read, because some of them were complaining they wanted to go back. And I was like, "Why? I've never heard this." Because they had to go to the coal mines. The few that I read, some of them didn't. Like there was some, like I mean, there was a mix, but I was shocked that there was as many as there were saying it was like better under slavery. In the stuff I read, not saying that was like across the board. But that's a really good way to look at it because you can see how bad the conditions were. Like if they're choosing to like stay or go, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just overall, I think you get my point.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that this country got rid of slavery because, and this is one point liberals just can't seem to get.
Mm.
The prosperity of some is the prosperity of all. Black people and white people benefit together. Black people don't lack something because white people have it.
Mm-hmm.
Black people are getting better off, and they're already a lot better off. They're living a lot better off today than their masters did in the time of slavery, certainly. Their masters would have lost several of their children. Every time they had a fever, they might die. They didn't have plumbing, electricity. You get my point.
Mm-hmm.
We benefit together.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about who's wealthier than who. It's about the common good, which even though companies compete under capitalism, society overall benefits from capitalism, from mass production and efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that there's this idea that because like white people benefit, like that black people are worse off, but that's not really how it works. Because everyone benefits because you can obviously make the conditions better for like the poor. I'm guessing like if they have more money and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's good for everyone.
Okay.
Okay. So that's about all I have to say. I hope your parents and you and your boyfriend and your siblings are doing well.
Thank you. Are there any other misconceptions that we didn't go over that you wanted to go over, or?
None that I can think of on hand. I could talk more about other stuff, like the effect the Barbary pirates had on Europe.
Sure.
Beyond just taking slaves, but we don't really have the time.
Okay.
I mean, you get yeah, I'm sure you got to move on.
Okay, well, you should. Well, we can do it again sometime. You should consider you should consider using your voice, though. I don't think they'll find you. I don't know. But
I'll think about it.
You can think about it. But
but yes, I apologize also to my to your audience, really more, for my voice.
It's okay. This is interesting, though. I learned a lot. So
yeah.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And if this video gets a lot of likes, and if you want to, I can come on again and we can talk more about other stuff.
Sure. Yeah. In order to get a lot of likes, though, you got to use your real voice. People, unfortunately. So email me exactly all what you want me to put in the comments, and then I'll put the sources and stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. See, that was interesting. It's not like I'm really too bothered by the voice. It didn't really bother me, but I just know how the algorithm works, so. All right, the next few days I'm gonna be gone. I'll probably do coffee talks on the road though, because I am going to. My dog is moving the mic. It looks like a ghost was. So funny story. The documentary donor, I'm going to meet him. A guy that's funding like a good chunk of the document. Me and Doug MPA are, and he asked to go to like a Eagles, what I thought was an Eagles game, but I found out the Eagles is a band, and I didn't know. So I'm going to an Eagles concert, and I had no idea. I was like. I had no idea, but I'm going to that, and then I'm gonna be in Vegas, so that'll be kind of cool. I'll maybe talk a little bit more about me because I'm a woman, and I just, I've recently been studying cleaning products. I have been a slob my entire life, and I'm still kind of a slob, but I'm a lot better than I used to be. And I think I might even do a show about the reasons I figured out, like reasons I used to be messy. Like I've never been dirty, but I've been messy. And I've recently figured out some of the root causes of this. Yeah. Unfortunately, this room right now is messy, but we're redoing the music studio, so it's like under construction. So this doesn't count. The rest of my house is clean. Admitting you have a slob. Well, it's not like the slob problem. It's not like I didn't know, I knew, but the problem was I didn't know how to fix it because it would just be very overwhelming. Like there'd be just too much stuff to remember. And the challenge is I realized I was kind of set back as a person because I was so into sports, and that's so time consuming. And I found the neater people just spend more time like being neat, or their parents taught them like habits young. That's what I mean, like paying attention to kids. Like if the parents aren't correcting you on like being a slob, I don't know. Part of it's genetic, my laziness, I don't know. But I'm just speaking to my experience. I figured out a lot of it was because I was really busy. If you don't spend that much time at home, it's very hard to keep it neat. I would buy too much stuff. So like even if I was clean, like and just a lot of my systems were really bad for the way that I would like come and go to places. And there's a lot of little tricks that if you know, it makes everything a lot easier. So anyway, the messiness, I've been studying cleaning products because it's very confusing, right? It's like it's like there's all these products and I would just get kind of overwhelmed because I'm like, God, there's so many. But yeah, anyways. I've recently figured out a lot of solutions to problems I've had for a long time, and it's been very fulfilling. The thing I need to figure out next is like fabric. Like laundry is going to be like, I can do laundry, but there's like doing laundry and there's like doing laundry, you know. And I'm really trying to up my laundry game. So, I mean, all of this is a skill. I've recently gotten pretty decent at cooking, and I'm very proud of myself. Not amazing, right? I could be better, but I realized that a lot of problems are just caused by not eating real foods. Like it's like kind of the root cause of a lot of stuff. So creative clutter is not filth. And just because I grew up with nannies, so there's a lot of like basic stuff I didn't know how to do. And I used to do like after school, I would have 3-hour volleyball practices. Like I would basically have 5 to 6 hours of volleyball and basketball. And it's like you go home, you don't want to clean. You're exhausted. You just ran for like 4 hours. You know. But I've made so much the last 2-3 years. I've kind of like taken a step back in my career. I don't do the biggest shows anymore or whatever. And I've really spent so much time teaching myself this stuff. It was incredible. When I moved, I couldn't figure out why I kept burning shit. Because I would, back in Chicago, I would cook and I learned how to cook things a certain way. And recently, like 2 weeks ago, I found out it was the type of pan. When I moved, the old owners had a different type of pan. And it was stainless steel. And you need to put the setting on lower. And it was just that one little thing. I used to I didn't understand stainless steel. You need to also clean with like the scrubber and barkeepers. I didn't understand. So I would waste all this time using just a normal scrub, and it's just like little stuff like that where you're like, oh my God, I have done this the wrong way, ungodly for too long. Lysol sanitizer instead of bleach. Always use cold tone wash and low heat to dry. I don't use bleach for my laundry. Is that bad? Air fryer. Do you know what? I don't use an air fryer because I wanted to learn to cook the right way. Like, I don't know why. In my head, I was like, I need to learn to cook on pots and pans. And then later I can get a rice cooker and an air fryer. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe I could have saved a lot of time, but this is just how I think. I tried cast iron pans for a while, but I just found them annoying. I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't get the right system, but I just didn't love it. But I'm to the point where I'm semi-satisfied with my cooking. I also realized I was wasting a lot of time because I would think, oh, I learned this one meal, and then I would move on to the next and the next and the next. What I realized is you have to eat the same thing and learn that to the point where you don't need to look at the recipe. Where I would just be like, okay, let's learn this next thing and learn this next thing. It's much better to just have like 10 recipes that you're really, really good at before moving on. Hold on. Sorry, 1 second. So what am I trying to learn right now? I really want to get better at folding. So I know how to fold, but it's just not that good. Like, it just feels like it could be cleaner, and ironing, I never iron. So I kind of want to get better at that. I know how to do it, but I don't do it like every time I do laundry. If that makes sense. So, yeah, I don't think I take care of my clothes very well, but that's on my list. That's my 2026 list. I'll tell you my goals for 2026. I want to get really, I'll pull up my Google Doc with my goals in it. All right. So the way I work is I always have a working Google Doc with everything I want to achieve. Okay. I might even share this on stream. Is there anything personal here? Okay. I'll share it. Fuck it. Fuck it, bucket. You know what I mean? Share screen. So this is how like my to-do list goes. These are the potential, like the goals. So these are like my work. So I'll start with like we have to figure out the software stuff for like we're switching the app right now. So right now I'm paying a bunch of money to all these websites to like do all this app stuff. It's really annoying. And I'm trying to like fix that, you know. So these are like options. Then there's like, oh, I bought something from these two places and I need to use them. Then I'm trying to fix the jaw thing I was telling you about. Got to pick a documentary editor, street interviews I want to do soon. And it's like working. So then there's house things I want to get better at, making a cleaning system for the bathrooms, improve my stove slightly, dusting, declutter. I need to declutter my pantry equipment, my cleaning supplies, laundry. I want to make the beds a little bit because I can make them, but they just don't look like pristine like in the hotels. So I want to get better. Laundry, how to clean the washing machine. And then sometimes if I can't figure out a solution, I try to say the problem because I'm like, sometimes I'm frustrated. I don't know why. So I hate cleaning the bathroom shower because the glass door, I just have not found a really good system to like clean it. And it just feels like it takes me forever. So I want to figure out a better system for it. My laundry, I don't really like to iron. So I need to get better at that. And yeah, my bed doesn't. Apps, signed to Doug, and then get a music studio built. So these are like my goals. That's kind of how I do things, if anyone cares. So now you got the list. Well, I always do it, but some things are just higher, like they take me longer. So I've had a working to-do list that I want to do the splits for, like, that's like lower on it, but like I wanted to do the splits for years. And but I knew like some things are like later because I don't have time to think about it right now. Like the way my brain works is I only have like, I can only do 2 to 3 things a day of goals that I'm working on. And I prefer to like stack it. So I prefer to do music every day until I've learned the skill and I can move on. I prefer to do like the cleaning stuff every day or the workout, the weight loss, like, I don't know how to put it, the mobility, like whatever it is. I have 2 goals that I can like actively chase. And then a third goal that's like, I'm chasing, but not as well. I don't know. Maybe, can I elaborate on the music studio plan in details? Well, I have to figure out the best way to build this room out, but I want to produce music. And it's really, I would love to be able to make my own music. And I don't know how long it would take me to learn music production. I'm learning like music theory right now, which is kind of probably overkill. I probably don't need to, but I want to learn that. So I want to be able to perform on stream, like full piano and full guitar. And then I want to be able to do I want to be able to turn that into actual songs and put it on Spotify. Now, the skills I'm learning now are music theory and learning to play piano and guitar. The studio right now, music like production might take me too long, so I might just have to hire a producer. So I know I get a lot of production, like people that want to produce with me. Maybe, but I mean, I'm going to get the studio done it's like pretty much done. We're missing like 2 pieces of equipment. And then I'm going to declutter all the equipment because I just have had such a mess of equipment. It takes up so much space. And so I have this new thing where I'm like, if I'm not using it, then I just need to get rid of it or sell it or whatever, because it's just taking up all the space. And it's like mental energy, you know, like you see it, you don't know what to do with it. So my goal is get the music studio, get all the sets built here that I want built and be done and sell the rest. And then I'll worry about the production. I want to get through 3 piano and guitar books. I'm almost through piano book 2. I do these. And then I'm almost through guitar book 3. There's like one more book, I guess, that I have to do like half of. And then I want to be able to do all of the, let me find it. So like the music stuff I do every day. I do that like pretty much every day. Some people are like, if only Pearl had a teacher. And I'm like, well, I do have a teacher. Maybe it doesn't seem like it, but so I predict the music stuff here. Oh, hold on. Let me show you. I don't know. Do you guys care about this? Maybe I'm boring you. Oh my gosh. These are like the scales that I have to learn. So it goes major, minor, harmonic minor, melodic minor, pentatonic minor, and major blues scales. Those are the scales I have to learn for theory. And now this probably is overkill, but the way I see it is like once I know that, I know it. And like when I have kids, I can teach it to them. So if I learn this, then I'll save money on like guitar and piano later. That's how I see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But like I might not be able to homeschool them with the math stuff, but I would be able to homeschool them with the music. I mean, what a time. Then I have the documentary. Luckily, Doug MPA is going to like head that project. But that's because we just got funding for most of it. Feel free to donate more though. You know, I mean, we could, I feel like there's going to be more expenses that come up, but the documentary, the documentary, basically we finally got the money. Now we're picking a team. But I have this vision for like, my thought is when I have kids, I could probably do the show twice a week. I don't think I could do it more than that. But I really have this vision where I can have this, I can do my piano. I can do my piano and I can like create a song on stream. Then that song can be produced, right? And I own all the equipment. So if I just learn the skill or hire someone that has the skill, then that can be done. And then it would be cool because if I have kids, right? I think they should know, like, this is the new age. They should know how to use the equipment and stuff. I barely know how to use it, but I would make sure that the kids were trained. Like, I would make them train the kids. Sorry if you need to pay like a 10% pay increase to like do this stuff, but my kids are, they're going to work. I don't know if they'd be on camera, right? I don't really like that, but like they will know how to use the equipment. So, but music production, like, cause it's just in my experience, it generally takes me like 2 to 3 years to get a skill like mastered. So like I started learning to cook and putting a lot of time into it probably when I moved back from England. Otherwise I would just cook like here and there, but like I put a lot of time into it when I moved back from England, and that was probably like 2 years ago. And now I'm to the point where I'm pretty decent. I can hold my own. And in a year, I know I'll be really good. I've been doing the music lessons for about 1.5 years. And I think in a year, I'll probably be able to play fluently. Like I'm kind of getting to the point where I can read music. And I'm pretty, like I can read any guitar song, maybe sometimes slowly, but like all this I can read. So, and I've always just had this thought when I have kids, it's really important to me that those kids learn basic life skills. That I learned how to play volleyball and basketball really well, and I could do that very well, but it's just not the most useful life skill. And I would say I wasted more time on it, although it's tough to say because I really, really loved it. But in hindsight, it was just kind of a lot of time wasted. It was a lot of time wasted. You don't really get much out of that. I wasn't even thin because for me personally, so anyways, I had to, in my 20s, spend a lot of time learning like basic cooking, basic cleaning, all this stuff that like my life would have been so much easier if I just grew up doing it. But my mom had nannies, right? So my mom, she was gone a lot. It wasn't like she cooked every day, you know. She cooked like for big occasions, but it wasn't like, it'd maybe be like, I don't know, like 3 times a week or something. I don't know. But do you know what I mean? It's different than like every meal. Yeah. So you want to know, why don't I bring back the pregame? Because honestly, I will probably do debates. But that's just a high overhead cost and a lot of work with the production. And it just seems like bringing all those people in studio, one, that's a security risk. Like I used to have people show up at my house. 2, you're up all night. 3, you have to start hiring people. Like my problem was I hired too many people. It's just a whole headache for something that could be done like virtually, if that makes sense. And it made it impossible to date. Having a relationship when you're doing a show from like at night, every night with no flexibility because everybody's going to be there. It made it, I'm not really that argumentative as a person. Well, I like debating, but I don't like mean. I don't like when people are mean. And it just, that environment wasn't fun. Top 3 dishes I cook. Well, for breakfast, you know what? I have this on my thing, so I'll show you. This is my working doc. I'm going to make sure there's nothing personal here. Okay, there's one thing I don't want on stream. Okay, here. So the way I do it is I have like a second working group of like systems. Let me see. Here, so let me show you. All right, hopefully I don't say anything crazy on here. All right, so this is like lower on my doc, and it's kind of like my personal goals. Hold on. So personal goals. I want to be 155. I want to get through my piano books, my guitar books. I want to do dance. I did learn for a few months, but it was just too time consuming. So I kind of quit that, but I might pick it up like later in life. I wanted to get my split stand-up comedy TMJ. So these are like my I don't know, that time consuming, like, how do I put it? Not that important goals. So I have like a separate list of stuff I want to do at some point in my life, but it's not that important. Like learning modern dance, that's not that important. I don't really need to do that, but it'd be cool someday. Doing the splits would be really cool, but it's not that important, you know. But I think I'm going to get them this year, actually. I've made some significant progress. So for cooking, I found I like to keep the stuff that I cook for every meal. I put things I want to learn to cook, but it's actually things I've learned. I just didn't switch it. Yeah, and so I do scrambled eggs and bacon. It's nothing that hard. Protein smoothie with peanut butter and pumpkin, Greek yogurt with this like fruity banana thing you like put on the stove. Greek yogurt with banana, fruit, sugar, sour smoothie, which is like mango, apple juice, raspberry, strawberry, Greek yogurt, open sandwich, cream cheese, avocado, and egg with a sauce. Lunch, there's like this crispy honey crisp apple salad I like to make a lot. Crispy rice salad, which is kind of like a poke bowl. Crispy chicken sandwiches, buffalo chicken wraps, sushi bowls, sandwiches, just like dinner, steak, asparagus, potatoes, pasta dinner with vodka sauce. That one I don't make a lot because I'm trying to cut. Chicken wings, potato wedges. See, some of these I have to learn. Tacos I don't do often, but I want to learn that. Ramen I just learned, but I'm not that good at yet. Chicken thighs with rice and broccoli. It's good. I'm good enough at that. Steak, asparagus, potatoes. Snacks. I haven't learned spinach artichoke dip, but I want to. Granola bar recipe. This is really good. Oh my gosh, this granola bar recipe is so good. But I can't make it that much because I get fat. I'm like, if I have this in the house, hard boiled egg. I want to learn these drinks. I'm not a big drinker, but I want to be able to, if I ever have people over, make these drinks. Coffees, I can make these latte, sugar free. I don't know the exact like measurements for it, but I kind of know what each is. I know how to make brownies, cookies, raspberry bars, poppy seed muffins, and rice pudding. Yeah, that's pretty much the desserts though. I found it's kind of a useless skill, especially as a girl. Like, I'll tell you, if you're a woman, the two women that watch, the most useful things you can learn to cook for men. If you want to date a guy that's fit, if you want to date a fat guy, it's going to be something completely different. When I dated an overweight guy, I was also overweight, and I didn't cook back then. So I don't know, probably like they eat fast food anyway. So whatever. But if you want to meet a fit or date a fit guy, the things they need the most are like meal preps. Like, they spend a lot of time in the gym, so it's okay to have stuff that's like on the go, but they're really going to want like steak, asparagus, chicken breast, rice. But learning different types of rice is pretty good. Protein shakes. They like pasta, but just make sure the sauce isn't too heavy. I like buffalo chicken wraps. Those are pretty good. So you can like make a bunch of those and just put them in the fridge. Sushi bowls. Yeah, steak is the number one thing I think that really you should learn. I've spent a lot of time. I mean, this isn't really dating advice. I'd say it's cooking advice. 50 years ago, there wasn't all this diet crap. Yeah, but here's the difference. 50 years ago, people ate like food and they didn't drink their calories. So now what I've noticed the difference is people drink their calories. You shot an entire pregame at your house? Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's basically like if you're dating a fit guy, protein shake, eggs and bacon, some sort of egg, bacon, ham, whatever, like some sort of breakfast variation. Pancakes are okay, but they're not going to want that. Maybe like a protein pancake they might want. You could do steak and eggs for breakfast, but I'd say that's a little bit. They're not going to really want that every day. Lunch, you're going to want to do no carb. So it's going to want to be like a meat and like a salad. Salads are good. Protein bars, if you can make them. I haven't made protein bars. So I can't speak to that. French toast's okay, but fit guys don't generally, like, men don't really eat sugar like that. So a lot of women learn to bake, and just in my experience, if the guy's fit, it's kind of a useless skill because he's just not gonna want the desserts that much. Yeah, some of the guys don't like pork. Some of the guys aren't going to do salad. You have to learn the guy, right? But I'd say men prefer grilled vegetables over salad. Where women, because men have more testosterone, they don't like sugar. They don't crave it as much as we do. Yeah, me and Auntie Jenny do still talk. Not that often because I'm in a different country, but we're cool. The other thing too is you might a lot of times it's like kind of taking care of yourself. A lot of women, we don't really take care of ourselves, and you kind of have to get into the habit of like eating like eggs and bacon every day, and like, or I don't know, it could be, I like bacon. But some guys don't like pork, so you'd have to do a breakfast replacement, probably like turkey bacon, maybe if you like super healthy guy. Canadian bacon, ham, or no, that's still pork. I'm stupid. You could do turkey. Pearl's spot on. Different dudes of different diets. They do, but they don't. If I'm being honest, like I think most men just eat high protein, so they want a lot of meat, where women want a lot of carbs. So if a man's overweight, it's usually from like fried foods, or like eating fast food, but it's not usually from sugar and dessert. Yeah, so I mean, women like fit dudes, right? So you kind of got to learn what they like to eat, and that's for me personally, the meal preps that I found, it's the sushi bowls, the buffalo chicken wraps, steak and asparagus, eggs and bacon. Like that's really, yeah, protein. And I'd say meat is the hardest to cook. Like I think that's why we don't like it, is because it's like very difficult to cook meat. At least because like baking, you just throw everything into a bowl and just like do it. Vegetables, it's just throw oil and seasoning and like either put in a skillet. But meat, you have to like, if you flip the salmon too soon, it like gets stuck to the pan. Like you could dry out the chicken. I don't know. It's just, yeah, turkey bacon. I used to always be embarrassed. Like I didn't want to like go into a guy's like kitchen or something. And like, I don't know. It's like weird because it's not your place, but I don't know, if you're in the habit of like doing it for yourself every day. You know what? I haven't tried tuna because I don't really like tuna, but maybe I will, you know. Yeah, it's easy to overcook meat, then it's ruined. I guess salmon kind of is woman's food. I mean, I've thought it was fine. Yeah, omelets, that's true. Hard boiled eggs, yeah, those are good. Turkey omelets. Do you know what? I haven't made an omelet in a while. I don't think I've made an omelet since I moved, but I like omelets. I should make that soon. Yeah, put the other foods. Although I found most men, especially fit guys, they can cook themselves. So they actually, I would say fit men prefer cleaning over cooking. I would say cleaning is more desired from men than cooking. Because I would say most men, there's a few different types, because I'll ask a lot of guys questions that I know about like what would be the most useful. This is from boyfriend, brothers, like just observations. There's a few strategies. There's some men that just completely outsource eating out. And they don't really care that much. Like usually these are high earning men and they don't care that much about cooking. but they're usually messy. They're like guys kind of like me that just early on focused on honing in on like a few skills and just skipped over the cooking and the cleaning up after themselves. So they tend to like the cleaning because they don't really care. They earn a lot of money. They can Uber Eats. You could say everyone should be able to cook 4 out of 10 food, but like certain high earning guys don't really care. And the reason they don't care is because they're not going to eat like mediocre food cooked when they could just Uber Eats their favorite food. You know, I think more men can cook than women overall, though, because most men aren't like in the super high income brackets. But there are like certain men that I've met, they don't really care about cooking. It's just not. Yeah. And the house key. That's the one thing is you can't really, all this like traditional skills can be outsourced for not that much money. So even if you can cook and clean, it's not that much of a value add. The value add is when you have kids because it's going to be way more expensive to clean up like and cook after the kids. Does Uber have healthy options? Yeah, no, you can totally do it. Is there anything I miss about being famous in 2023? The money, but other than that, no. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of them do hire. I was a nanny kid. And the thing is, the guys that eat out a lot, that's kind of part of their lifestyle. I think personally, I've never dated a guy like that, but that eats out all the time and like goes to dinners and stuff. I would have a difficult I think that you'd have to think about how to add value to those guys. Like, there's some guys that are in big cities, right? And it's not that expensive for them to hire, like, to get either pre-made meals and hire a cook. A lot of times they like eating those foods. Like, it's already done. They like it. They're good with it. I think those are the most difficult guys to add value to their lives because their stuff is outsourced, you know? I mean, they just need a pretty girl to go with them to dinner. Like, there's some guys, they only eat out. Again, that's not the majority. That's like a percentage of guys, but they're in like Miami, San Francisco. Like, hello, Pearl. Remember me? We spoke on the phone in Miami. Did you hear I was about unfiltered podcasts canceling the illegal activities behind the scenes? If you want to hear more, then DM me. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, the rich guy. Yeah, so it's just like a certain niche. I've noticed there's like country rich guys and city rich guys. And country rich guys, they're like more like my father. Like, they want to do everything themselves. City rich guys are more like Myron. Like Myron, he talks about this on stream. He says cooking's for poor people. And I see where he's coming from. If you didn't learn that as a kid, like, it's going to take you forever, but like, it doesn't take that much time away from you if you already know how to do it, is like how I would explain it. When I go back on Jubilee, recently I got asked to do the 20 versus 1 podcast, and I just said, are you going to pay me? If you don't want to pay me, I don't want to get screamed at for 2 hours. Home cooked meals taste so much better. I don't agree with that. Maybe when you have a girl that's like cooked for a few years, but especially if you're dating young women in today's economy, the meals are going to suck for the first year. If I'm being honest, they're not really going to be that good. I have no idea what the unfiltered. I've been on so many shows. I don't remember. I don't really want to gossip about these people. Like, it's just not my business. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't care. I'm here. I'm not here to like, you know. Cooking is for people who value handmade as opposed to by barbarian. I mean, yeah, but you can get food that's like well made, you know, and like, yeah, they say, oh, the food's not, it's going to be better when it's home cooked. I'm like, I don't think that's really true. I mean, today there's so many really good like cooking places that do taste better. Eric stole money from Myron. Well, then he should, you know, figure that out. And I don't know that they should talk about, like, Myron should talk about that, not me. All right, William Stitcher. All right, Breon. I think you crashed out last show. I'm gonna give you 2 messages to chill out, otherwise I'll ban you. So Pearl can't cook. I can now. Pretty decent. Could be better, but well, what I like about doing stuff yourself is you just get more privacy. Like, I was at a point where I made a good amount of money, and like, it made sense for me to outsource stuff, but I hated having people come in and out. I hate it, like, you know, the cleaner, like, they see how messy I don't really like that, you know. The more I've learned how to do stuff myself, the more I've appreciated like the privacy that comes with it. If you go to a restaurant, you never know if they wash their hands. Well, if the woman's cooking, she probably didn't. Women always do the wrong thing. You know what I mean? How much was I making a month at my peak? Well, making, is that minus expenses? Because I made a lot of really stupid decisions. Really dumb in terms of hiring people. Like, I overhired. Oh, yay, one of my things shipped. I ordered some equipment. Let me see when this is coming in. Yeah, you don't have to sell me on like the value of doing stuff yourself, because I've really learned it as I've gotten older. But God, I feel like I put so much work into learning this stuff. I wish I learned it when I was a kid. Screw volleyball, you know what I mean? Like, and the other thing that's cool is you can kind of like make your own, you can like host people and stuff when you're able to like do this stuff. Thank you for your work. I've written a couple books on suicide prevention and homeless, the issues stemming from relationships being the leading cause. Really? It's interesting. I talked to a paramedic today, and he didn't seem to think that relationships were the leading cause of suicide, like from the calls he gets. He said, like, his insights were interesting. One thing I didn't know is that crime, they include suicide in crime. So for like murder stats. So white people are overrepresented in murder stats because white men commit suicide the most. Are you cooking Premier meals for the next 4 days? Yeah, I do that too. I found that like rice, and especially if you make a lot of like chicken breast, you can use that in a sandwich. You can like shred it and put it in a salad. Once you get to a certain point, you can kind of like do a bunch of different stuff. So it's so interesting. When I just talk shit, you guys get so many super chats like and memberships. It's like I'll do this whole show about a topic, and then you guys join when I'm like telling you about my cleaning journey. Okay, thank you guys for the new member, Tony. Tony, $10 super chat. Thank you. You said that already. Super sticker, William. Thank you. Eric, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, 3 pounds of ground beef. I'm not a big ground beef person. Oh, another one. Thank you. New member. Thank you. But I've made it before. It's like decent. I'm gonna do tacos soon. That's like gonna be my new one. Another one, Stephen, or Stefan, I don't know. I cook a whole course meal in one pot or multiple pots. It lasts me quite a while, no matter if it's something quick over time. Yeah, I mean, I've done crock pot, but I just don't really love crock pots. I like doing a pan and a skillet, and that's just my favorite way to cook. I don't know. Sorry, I don't have an answer for that. I make a lovely Vietnamese salad. I like this I like one that has apple crisps in it. Like it's like an apple salad. It's got like raisins, apples. Or maybe it's not raisins. I don't know. It's got salad, whatever the salad thing's called, the leaves. See, what I mean? Names of stuff. I just blank. All walnuts, chicken. I don't know. It's pretty good. All right. I gotta go. I gotta pack for this trip. So buy a rotisserie chicken. I'm just stubborn, guys. I want to know how to do it. So then, like, when I'm an adult, I already am an adult, but when I have kids and a family, I want to be able to like have their friends over, and like I don't want to give them rotisserie chicken. It's gonna be so lame. So strawberries in a salad. Oh, that sounds good. All right, where am I going? It's 9:30. I'm gonna go pack and go to bed. So love you guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll be back probably Tuesday. I might go. My work trip is near where my sister and my brother live. So if I go see them, I might not be back till Wednesday. So I'm gonna rank up. I know I've kind of taken a little bit of time off streaming, so the content's gonna be a little slower this month, probably halfway into next month. The reason is we're trying to fix the app and get the documentary started. That's going to take a little bit of time away from Showtime. Unfortunately, there's going to be less probably for the next like month. It's just going to be a little bit more sporadic and less consistent. But I'm hoping right now we just have all these really high fees from the app. So we're building our own. There's a few people emailed me because they want to they wanted to like, I forgot what the issue was. They had like a lifetime membership and they were recharged. Sorry, I forgot about the app right now because I'm building a new app. So I'm about to leave this other platform. But anyone that's got memberships now, I'm going to just send into the new app where we have more control. So, yeah. So forgive me. We're doing the best we can. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.